Hey, what's going on with y'all? Can Jones here, back with another video. This time I want to talk to y'all a bit about using LinkedIn as a research tool to help you up your resume. Of course, combine that with ChatGPT, and together you can do a lot. Now, I just got off the horn with the homie, and this is a real impromptu video here because after having a conversation with my young life, Los, what's going on with you, Los? It just made me want to make sure that I share this same information out. Now, I've always utilized LinkedIn as a tool for learning. I've jumped on there to figure out what roles are called in other industries or how people are explaining what they do that have a job title that I either want or that I currently have. And I found over time that I've tweaked a lot of different iterations of my profile because I found people who expressed a thought or a sentiment, and the way they said it was way better than the way I said it. So being able to use that as the framework for how I want to set mine up. You don't have to necessarily be on here and interacting every single day. I don't. Got about 620 followers here, a lot of connections and so on, but it's a research tool. I have the comments, I save a lot of stuff, take screenshots, all of that. I have spent a lot of hours on here, especially back 2018, 2019 in my time of wanting to really get out of the industry in which I was in, make a career pivot, and having a lot of trouble being able to understand how to communicate what it is that I know how to do from not just on-job experience, but things that I've done in the community, the self-teaching that I've done, online courses that I've taken, and how all of that information can be processed and put into a resume form or expressed on these different platforms to show that I am capable of doing certain tasks. So with that said, I'm going to talk a little bit about LinkedIn, and then I'm going to show you a couple of ways in which you can use this to research, along with how to use this to up what your resume is looking like when it comes to what you're trying to do. So here again, my iTechnicallyKan, Can Jones LinkedIn profile. If you haven't yet, go there, give me a little and follow. I'll follow back and we'll be following each other. So here we've got my name, of course, right? But I broke this down into kind of what I do and what I do. Technical trainer, customer enablement, making tech simple for non-techies. I know that's my skill set, that little tagline there. I take it from highly technical into conversational, and therefore you feel like you're being talked to and not talked at. I know that's where one of my skills lie, which is why iTechnicallyKan is a thing. Now, I am going to say, when it comes to getting your LinkedIn profile put together, it is a thing that happens over time. There's going to be multiple iterations, but word of advice that I'm going to give you for this about section: doesn't need to be 10 paragraphs of every detail in your life and work history. It's more about what problems you solved and how you solved them to be able to showcase that. And especially if you're looking to change and pivot in your career into a different industry, it's figuring out how what you already know transfers over to this new role or new industry in which you're trying to break into. And that's going to bring me to my next point here. I know a lot of us get caught up in this, like, I only know these titles, and titles change between industries, between companies. Project manager here is a scrum master over there, is a whatever over here. It just changes. And sometimes if you don't know what other titles exist, you don't understand how your skills can apply in other places if it's not the same exact job title. So one way to kind of get through that, I'm going to jump over here into my ChatGPT page, right? So what I've got here is a prompt. What are some career options or roles that my skills as a technical trainer, customer enablement, that's me. Of course, you will put in your own information here to replace that. How are those skills? I just stumbled all the way through that. I'm going to say this because I know how to read words. What are some career options or roles that my skills would be transferable to? So this prompt would help me understand what my skills apply, where they could be applied in other spaces, right? So looking here, it broke this down into customer focused roles, learning and development roles, technical and product roles, technical communication and content, consulting and advisory roles, sales and marketing, and then creative and digital fields. So these are a lot of things that, if as a technical trainer, I wouldn't have known to look at some of this stuff. A product specialist, product manager, that's not a thing that would have popped in my head, product management versus the technical trainer. But product management is managing product. Technical writer, I can see that, but then getting into content strategist, right? So developing content, that's essentially what's being done already. I do a little bit of this right here. Then getting into consulting and advisory roles. I definitely have thought about side hustling as a consultant and doing some advising. I feel like a few of y'all out there that know, I'll hop on a call with you, break things down, and get you a bit moving forward with whatever it is you got going, if I have the info for it. At some point, I feel like I should get paid for that. So again, now I've got a bunch of this information here. Now, let's say you throw your information, you get this list broken down here, and something jumps out at you that you you want to take a stab at. Let me see. For me, let me see. Content strategist, right? I like this. Tech focus. I'm going to actually go ahead and control see that, copy this in my clipboard. Now back in LinkedIn, I can go ahead and jump into this search bar, type that in, right? Go to see these results. And that tech focus might not have been, actually, I'm going to take that out, right? I'm going to just put content strategist. Now with that, if I was searching for jobs and roles, I can look at jobs, right? Here, I can go see all jobs, and I'm able to now go ahead and look at roles and positions that fall under that umbrella of content strategists. And what this allows me to do is figure out, what are they looking for, right? So coming here, minimum qualifications, bachelor's. I do want to note, if you don't have a bachelor's, if this is a bachelor's or below, don't worry if you don't have it. Now, if it gets in the master's and PhD level, that's a bit different. That, you might got to actually add it under the belt. But this bachelor's, in a lot of cases, if you can prove that you can do this job and you have a track record and history of showing that this is what I've been doing for X amount of years, that one can be bypassed. And then when looking at these bullet points, there's quite a few bullet points here. Some of this, if you can get 75, 80% of this is a yes, okay, I checked that box, still apply. I don't really think it's ever expected for you to know all of these, but it is expected for you to be able to learn the rest. And so that's what you got to keep in mind. Are the other bullet points that you don't have as far as your resume or your experience, are they something that you can learn and feel confident that you can learn them? If so, yes. Now let's say I'm looking here and I'm like, all of this is looking good. Now I'm going to show you how you can go ahead and grab this, jump back into ChatGPT and use this to go. And I know I could have copied possibly copied the link, but I'm just going to do this. So I'm going to go ahead. I copied all of this, right? I'm going to jump back into this same thread. And first I'm going to type job posting. I'm going to jump down a line, paste that in, scroll back, make sure I'm up. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my resume, right? Bam. And then what I'm gonna do, let me pull up my resume, right? And this is my actual resume. I'm gonna go ahead, Control C, Control V. Then I'm gonna jump back over, right? And I'm gonna go ahead, paste that in, right? Now I've got my resume, paste it in here, all the text from my resume, paste it in here, all the text from that job posting. And then I'm going to hop up here. Now, again, this is a on the fly. I would have written that a whole different way if I had some time to really think that through. But I'm just throwing this in, right? So what it did, it told me that it was about to optimize this resume, and its focus is on quantifying impact, aligning language, and highlighting transferable skills. And then, of course, enhancing that readability, right? So it goes through. It's doing its thing. Gonna let it do its thing for a second here. And while that's happening, one of the things too I want to mention, like this aligning language, that is the big gap right there. How things are communicated in this industry versus that industry. And that's where this ChatGPT really does help out a lot. It is the crutch, because being able to articulate what it is that you do in your day-to-day in your role. That is the most important part. Some people are really good at being able to synthesize the information and then communicate it in a way that's like, and it's I'm sure you've seen a resume somewhere and been like, damn, like I could how did you? And people have been doing that way before ChatGPT was here to boost it up, right? Some people are better equipped to document that. A suggestion that I would make, if you're having trouble even getting your bullet points from your day-to-day job, just jump onto ChatGPT, and before you even jump to ChatGPT, start with the Notes app and just go ahead and list out everything you do in a day. Even if there's a point where you go and dump the trash, everything you do in your day, bullet point that out, throw that into ChatGPT, tell it the role and position in which you were in, and tell it that you needed to condense and synthesize this information so that it is more representative and professional for the role in which you are doing. It's going to give you a much better way of saying, I took the trash out. You know what I'm saying? So with that, let's see what it gave us. All right. Give me that. I'm not even going. I'm just going straight down to here. So part of the reason that I asked it to give this comparison is so that I can see what was and what was optimized or changed. So here I got a column with original and then one with optimized. So here their experience summary focuses on training. What they did was expanded it to include sales enablement, content creation, and instructional design. Those are things that are in my wheelhouse. So look, it already gave me the extra. Technical trainer section emphasized delivery. Here it added content design, multimedia production, and alignment with the GTM strategy. Here did no mention of sales enablement. It said, I'm tripping, explicitly connected training material to sales success, right? Technical skills listed broadly. It categorized content development, sales enablement, platforms, and learning tech. No KPIs for impact. I'm doing bad. Quantified customer satisfaction, engagement increases, and adoption rates. No mention of storytelling or design principles. Highlighted experience with storyboarding, visual design, and messaging. Then the LMS experience mentioned but not detailed. So it tied that LMS usage to content governance, version control, and KPIs. Then gave me the why. And of course, when you're working with this stuff, it's not always going to kick out exactly what you're looking for the first time. So going in and making whatever adjustments, little tweaks that you need to, that is a necessary part of this process. But this at least will give you an idea of what tweaks are needed and giving you more of the language that is necessary when it comes to a lot of these roles that are out there, at least to get them to look at you. But again, you want to make sure that there's nothing that's like way out of your actual knowledge base. So when somebody is sitting in front of you with that resume and they're reading it back to you, you can speak to each of those bullet points that are there. You know, we always hear that joke, saying you're proficient at Excel. Y'all do not be proficient at Excel. Putting some text into a cell is not Excel. Y'all don't even understand what a VLOOKUP. You don't even know what a pivot table is, but you proficient. Anyways, with that said, these are a couple of the ways. One of the other things, let me think, there was one more. Also, let's say you came across, when you're searching for these jobs on LinkedIn and you're trying to figure out stuff, you can set up alerts. So you can have this set up that, okay, a job posted in the past month, depending on what your experience level, let's just go with associate, salary, we go at 100 or better, right? And if you want a remote position, you know, you can do that. But also you can change this to, we're in the land of the ports. So I'm going to go ahead, change that to Portland, Oregon. That slows it down a bit. That way I can leave it open to have remote, on-site, and hybrid, because these are all local, right? There's 100 results here. I can click this button to turn those or turn the alerts on for that. So I'll get updates that'll go to my email, you know, depending on what your contact preferences are set up as. Get an email daily, every couple of days, when something matches that pops up, and you can pop over and give it a look. You know what I mean? And even if nothing else, it's not about applying to every single job, but it is going through and reading through what those jobs are looking for, how they're talking about their jobs, what are the skills, what are the certifications that are needed. Figure that out. Also pay attention to them salary ranges based on the titles. understand where that is for your market. So when you go in to have the talk, if you do get an interview and they're talking salaries, you know how to come in and not just taking what you think sounds good to you. Use knowledge in terms of what's available, what's out there, what numbers people are playing with. Don't sell yourself short. So again, LinkedIn is really, really good for research. Combine that with your ChatGPT. Guarantee you'll be able to at least up that resume. Can't guarantee, results may vary. I can't guarantee, a job happening, because it takes a lot more than just the resume. It really takes you being able to show that you are a problem solver that they need on their team. That's it. That's all. All of this, it's a business. Where is your value? How are you adding the value to them as a team, to them as a company, so that they can generate more revenue? It's really what it boils down to. Anyways, off of my soapbox, I'm about to get my ass up out of here. With that said, make sure you do follow me if you haven't. All the things, Kan Jones, iTechnicallyKan, and I'm out of here. Also, if y'all found this useful, let me know.